Strife, a character many of you know from the Final Fantasy series and produced by the company that you may know today as Square Enix. Final Fantasy VII was introduced in 1997, where Cloud and his story made its debut. Cloud is a character that's archetype would be considered a survivor warrior. Cloud has faced many challenges that were life-threatening to not only him but also all the friends he wants to protect. However, Cloud has gone through a great ordeal of trauma, loss, and even strife. Cloud's story may seem a little complicated to follow, but I will do my best throughout this video essay to break it down to you in a short and hopefully simplistic way to go over his history. Cloud's story begins in his hometown Nibelheim when he was at a young age. Cloud had a father that passed due to illness and has only a mother. He's been usually always alone during his childhood. He didn't have any friends except for one person, even though she didn't know him all that well. That character was named Tifa, and she plays a huge part in Cloud's character development down the line. When Cloud and Tifa were kids, Tifa's mother passed away, and she got the idea in her head that she would be able to see her mother again if she was able to cross a treacherous path behind a huge mountain. Cloud was concerned for Tifa's safety, so he followed her. Tifa came across a rickety bridge and she almost fell off, but Cloud was able to help her. Well, sort of. Cloud ended up falling to the ground of the mountain off the bridge with Tifa. Cloud's injuries weren't that bad, but Tifa's were life-threatening, and she almost wouldn't have made it. The father of Tifa blamed Cloud that it was all his fault since he thinks it was his idea for Tifa and him to cross the mountain. After that, Cloud decides he wants to be a soldier for a company called Shinra, and before leaving he was able to tell Tifa what he planned to do. Cloud still blamed himself for what happened to Tifa that day since he failed to prevent her from taking the fall. A couple of years passed, and Cloud at age 14 ran away from his town since there was nothing for him there anymore, and decided to go join Shinra, trying to follow in the footsteps of the legendary Sephiroth. But Cloud joined only as an infantryman since he couldn't make a strong first impression and was not able to get into soldier class like he set out to be. Cloud went on missions for Shinra with Sephiroth on occasions and took commands from someone in the soldier program named Zack Fry. Zack was the one who originally had possession of the Buster Sword that Cloud wields in the future, but we'll get to how that comes to be. Zack and Cloud get along well since they had a lot in common. Cloud being ashamed of the failure of not being able to make it to the soldier class, he cuts off all contact from his home village. Zack is a first-class soldier. He helps Cloud out with various things, and the two quickly develop a friendship because of it. Zack was probably the most influential to Cloud in his story. Zack also inherited the Buster Sword from someone else who used to be the former mentor he gave to him in his final moments. Some stuff happens where Shinra must fight off this group called Genesis from attacking the city, and then later Cloud eventually has to go back to his hometown with Zack and Sephiroth to investigate a damaged Mako reactor, which gives powers to the cities, towns, and other various things. When Cloud got back to his hometown, he put his helmet on so they wouldn't recognize him. Cloud refused to show anyone who he was under the helmet except for his mother when they had a brief reunion with each other. When Cloud, Zack, and Sephiroth visited his hometown, they were able to find something that was big. Sephiroth was able to find something that would make him end up discovering his true nature and what his actual purpose truly is. His purpose was after some self-conducted research in Shinra Manor by Sephiroth led to him believing that humans were a plague on Earth, or what the series likes to call Gaia. This discovery leads Sephiroth into a mad rampage where he ends up using immense power to destroy Cloud's village and mostly everyone in it. Cloud had to watch as he saw his mother get cut down right in front of him by the hero he once admired and strived to be. Cloud wanted revenge. He was able to borrow Zack's Buster Sword while he was knocked out by Sephiroth in an attempt to try to stop him. The only one who made it out of the attack was Tifa and Cloud for two different and various reasons. The two clash, and although Cloud gets severely injured, he manages to beat Sephiroth, throwing him into a Mako pit. Mako is considered as light magic in the Final Fantasy series for anyone who might have been wondering. After the battle, Cloud, Zack, and all of the survivors became captives of Shinra, where they went through experiments conducted by them. Tifa was able to escape the fate of being a test subject and made it out of town at a time when Sephiroth was on his rampage. Zack and Cloud were both exposed to Mako with two different reactions. Zack was able to handle the experiments because he was used to being experimented on with the Mako and had little reaction. But Cloud, however, developed a serious case of Mako poisoning. So the professor conducting the research, Professor Hojo, declared them both failed test subjects. Then they were both placed in cryogenic sleep in the pods of a basement in Shinra Manor for many long years. 4 years later, their slumber ends when Zack was able to break free from his pod. He freed Cloud, carrying him out of Shinra, being able to escape, if only briefly. They were on the run with Shinra trying to chase and track them down, and Cloud unable to move after being put in a vegetative state after he was confined for so long. After being on the run for so long with many close calls, a climactic showdown took suit with Zack and Genesis, with Cloud only being able to watch helplessly. Due to Cloud's excessive exposure to Mako, he was forced to watch the only friend he had at the time gunned down right in front of him. After the fight was over, Genesis decided to leave Cloud after finishing Zack, and just like Zack's mentor passed on the Buster Sword to him, he passed it on to Cloud. Cloud then was traumatized by this, and the Mako poisoning didn't help. Cloud ends up forgetting who Zack was and confused himself with being in Zack's place and mistakenly thinking he's Sephiroth's ex-partner. Cloud's mind became broken for various reasons. He lost his village, his mother, his one close friend Zack, and the experiments that led to Mako poisoning didn't help him in the slightest. These traumatic events caused Cloud to have new memories and a new personality as well. Cloud has been through a lot just through his backstory that I described to you, but there is much more to cover, and I will only be able to share for now what made Cloud the character he is and why he became one of the centers of attention in the Final Fantasy series. Now it's up to Cloud whether he's able to find out the truth about himself, but that's a story for another day.